Welcome back, American Coin Hunter. This is a long-form exploration of one of the most fascinating coins in U.S. history, the 1982 penny. Most people don't realize that a seemingly ordinary 1-cent coin could be at the center of massive collector interest, error coin mania, phenomenon grading stories, mysteries of metal composition, debate among numismatists, and legendary sales that sometimes reach staggering figures. Even though no verified 1982 penny is truly worth $273 million in the popular marketplace, and no legitimate collector market has a documented sale at that number, the lore around 1982 pennies and the kinds of error coins that exist can lead to extraordinary values and massive collector excitement. In this extended conversation, we are going to dive deep into every imaginable angle about that coin, from the metals it was made from, the strategic decisions of the U.S. Mint in that year, the designs, the symbols hidden in plain sight, the numismatic community's fascination with them, famous error examples, grading controversies, the weight puzzles that got collectors talking, varieties, market value dynamics, and the stories around why a coin like a 1982 cent ignites passion around the world. So settle in, because we are about to take a long, detailed, journey into the world of the 1982 United States 1-cent coin. First, to understand the 1982 penny, we have to understand context. By 1982, the Lincoln cent had been in production for over half a century. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Prior to 1909, U.S. 1-cent coins featured the Indian head design for more than 2 decades, and before that the shield cent and the large cents, all of which are now collectibles in their own right. The Lincoln cent was revolutionary because it was the first regular circulation coin in U.S. history to feature a real person, breaking tradition and forever altering coin design in America. For many collectors, the Lincoln cent bridges history, art, politics, economics, metallurgy, and culture. When we talk about the 1982 cent, we are talking about a design lineage stretching back to Abraham Lincoln himself, making this coin a symbol not only of currency, but of heritage. In 1982, the United States Mint was dealing with major issues in coin production. One of the biggest problems was the price of copper. The 1-cent coin at that time was made of a predominantly copper composition, specifically 95% copper and 5% zinc. This meant that the melt value of the coin, the value if you melted it down for its metal content, was approaching and sometimes exceeded 1 cent. In fact, during the late 1970s and early 1980s, the copper market was volatile, driving the intrinsic metal value of pennies close to or above face value. The U.S. Treasury was losing money on each penny produced. In response to this, in mid-1982 the Mint changed the composition of the penny to a predominantly zinc coin with a thin copper plating. The new composition was 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating. This dramatic shift was engineered to drastically reduce production cost, and the 1982 penny is the only year in U.S. history in which 2 entirely different metal compositions of the 1-cent coin were produced for regular circulation. This is the root of so much excitement and intrigue around 1982 cents. If you are a collector, discovering an original copper version from 1982 in circulation is like finding gold. These coins are rarer than most average collectors assume. They are scarce compared to the zinc versions simply because of the overwhelming number of zinc pennies struck. Estimates vary, but millions of 1982 copper pennies were produced. Still, compared to the billions of zinc pennies minted that year, the copper ones are the true hidden treasures. The weight difference informs collectors how to tell them apart without even looking at composition. Copper cents weigh 3.11 grams, while the zinc cents weigh 2.5 grams. That difference of about 0.61 grams is the quick test for any collector hunting these coins casually. A pocket scale becomes a tool of discovery. What else makes the 1982 cent fascinating is the story around that year's mintage. The United States Mint operates several facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, and each produces pennies bearing mint marks. In 1982, both facilities produced coins with the respective mint marks. P for Philadelphia was largely unmarked in pennies since Philadelphia historically did not use a mint mark on pennies until later years, and D for Denver. The organizational record-keeping for that year was intensive because of the composition change, and this contributes to the complexity collectors later studied. Early in the year, the mint produced pennies of the old-style copper composition. Mid-year, as soon as the new alloy was approved, production shifted to zinc-based blanks. This means that within the same year and the same nominal denomination, we have two entirely different coins technically and materially, a fact that rarely happens in U.S. coinage. The design that year, as for many years, was by Victor David Brenner. On the obverse, the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln looks forward, an enduring and dignified portrait honoring America's 16th president. On the reverse in 1982 was the Lincoln Memorial, designed by Frank Gasparo and introduced in 1959 to commemorate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Every time collectors hold a 1982 penny, they see a tiny architectural depiction of the Lincoln Memorial complete with the illusion of depth and detail that only puts greater respect on the craftsmanship of coins. Take a close look at that tiny building. If you use a magnifying glass, you can even see a miniature Lincoln statue inside the memorial, a detail that enthralls collectors and educators alike. The symbolism is rich. A humble 1-cent coin bearing the image of a president known for unifying a nation, and on the reverse a symbol of American democracy carved in stone, immortalized in metal smaller than a thumbnail. Because the Lincoln cent is something everyday Americans use, the 1982 cent became part of millions of personal histories. People remember getting them in change from grocery stores, vending machines, parking meters, and cash registers. Most such cents were spent, saved in jars, forgotten under couch cushions, or collected in rolls by casual enthusiasts. But once the news spread in collector circles that copper 1982 pennies were a distinct thing, collectors started weighing and testing boxes and rolls. Every old coin roll from banks became a potential gold mine. Thousands of coin collectors from across the world began hunting them, scanning through boxes of pennies in banks, coin shops, and estate collections. This brings us to the errors and varieties. Some collectors today argue that the most valuable 1982 pennies are not just the copper ones, but those with unusual errors. Among the most interesting are minted on incorrect planchet cents, off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, broad strikes, and striking errors where some zinc pennies have portions of copper showing through due to lamination issues. The double die varieties on 1982 cents are subtle but dramatic to collectors, featuring doubling on Lincoln's cheek or lettering that appears ghosted. There have also been mismatched die pairs that produced coins with text or features slightly misaligned, another rarity that collectors pay close attention to. Each year, error coin hunters find new varieties. The 1982 cent, because it exists in two compositions and was produced in vast quantities, is statistically more likely to have surviving error specimens than most coins. The market value of 1982 pennies varies drastically depending on condition, composition, mint mark, and rarity of errors. A regular 1982 zinc penny in circulated condition might be worth just slightly above face value to a coin dealer, sometimes a few cents to $1 or $2 in uncirculated rolls. Collectors generally aren't excited about zinc cents unless they are in near-perfect mint state grades like MS65 or MS66, where they might command modest premiums. But copper 1982 pennies in high grade can be significantly more valuable. In circulated condition, a copper 1982 might be worth in the tens or low hundreds of dollars. Picking up from where we left off, let's examine the 1982 cent through the lens of scarcity and collector psychology, because what truly elevates a coin from mundane pocket change to a coveted collectible is perception, rarity, and desirability. Even though billions of pennies were produced in 1982, the copper coins form a small fraction of total production. Statistically, for someone randomly sorting through circulation, the odds of encountering a copper penny are low but significant enough to fuel the thrill of the hunt. Every copper 1982 cent discovered is a victory. It is this element of chance that makes the 1982 cent one of the most exciting coins for coin roll hunters. Unlike modern pennies produced entirely with the zinc composition, finding a copper cent from 1982 feels like uncovering a historical artifact. The zinc pennies, while more common, are not without intrigue. Numismatists and collectors are keenly aware that even in the zinc cent population, there exist subtle varieties, anomalies, and unique examples that can carry premiums. Some of these include minor die cracks, faint doubling, or irregular strikes that are easily overlooked by casual collectors. In professional coin grading, even a small imperfection or unique strike can be the difference between a coin valued at a few cents versus one that commands hundreds or even thousands of dollars in rare cases. The concept of eye appeal cannot be overstated here. A zinc 1982 cent that is pristine, perfectly centered, and exhibits strong mint red luster can be surprisingly valuable to collectors who understand the nuances of coin surfaces, color, and strike quality. The dual composition nature of the 1982 penny also created unique collecting strategies. Coin dealers and serious hobbyists began using precise scales, magnification, and sometimes chemical testing to verify a penny's composition. Because weight is the simplest indicator, many collectors invested in pocket-sized gram scales capable of distinguishing the 3.11 gram copper cents from the 2.5 gram zinc cents. Some collectors would sort thousands of pennies in one sitting, carefully placing each copper find into a separate collection box, knowing that each coin represents a potentially valuable piece of numismatic history. Coin roll hunting, previously a casual hobby, became a precise science in 1982 and afterward, with collectors applying meticulous methods for identification and authentication. Errors from 1982 are particularly fascinating to discuss. Because the year involved a metal composition change mid-production, there were more opportunities for planchet errors, mismatched dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and partial lamination errors. Planchet errors occur when a blank metal disc intended for coinage is improperly prepared, leading to visible defects or irregularities. Some coins may have incomplete copper plating or abnormal thickness, creating visually striking examples that draw attention from collectors and auction houses. Similarly, off-center strikes from this year are rare and can dramatically increase the value of an otherwise ordinary penny. Collectors measure the centering to the thousandth of an inch because even small deviations can affect a coin's grade and market value. Coins that are extremely off-center but still recognizable are highly prized, as the production of such errors decreased significantly over time due to improved minting quality control point. One of the most collectible aspects of the 1982 cent is the die varieties, which refers to subtle differences in the way coin dies were prepared and used. Certain dies used for copper pennies differ in minor details from those used for zinc pennies, and within each composition type, subtle doubling or differences in lettering exist. Die varieties such as repunched dates, doubled dies, and weak strikes are meticulously cataloged by professional numismatists. For example, a doubled die 1982 penny may show doubling on Lincoln's cheek or on the date numerals. These doubled dies are often identified using magnification and lighting techniques, and coins exhibiting this feature can be worth many times more than their standard counterparts. Even the tiniest anomalies, when certified and authenticated, can yield immense value in the collector's market. The market itself is worth exploring in detail. While casual coin collectors might see pennies as nearly worthless, professional numismatists recognize that the market is driven not by face value, but by rarity, demand, condition, and documented provenance. A copper 1982 cent in circulated condition may command tens to hundreds of dollars, whereas uncirculated coins with flawless surfaces can fetch thousands. Coins graded MS65, MS66, MS67, or higher by professional services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, are particularly valuable, and those that also exhibit full red luster, meaning the original copper color is fully preserved, can reach the highest premiums. The fact that these coins were never intended to be rare makes them even more special, as they are hidden among billions of otherwise ordinary pennies. Collector psychology plays a fascinating role. Humans are naturally drawn to rare and unique items, and the 1982 cent perfectly illustrates this principle. The thrill of searching through rolls of pennies to find a copper example or a unique error creates an addictive experience for collectors. Entire communities have formed around this search, sharing tips, documenting finds, and teaching new collectors the techniques of coin roll hunting. Many collectors describe the moment of discovering a copper penny among zinc cents as one of the most exciting experiences in the hobby, comparable to finding a lost treasure. The 1982 penny, therefore, is not just currency. It is an experience, a story, and a shared adventure in the world of numismatics. From a historical perspective, the 1982 cent captures a unique moment in American economic history. The shift from copper to zinc reflects broader trends in global commodities, rising material costs, and governmental response to market forces. At a time when copper prices were surging, the U.S. Mint made a bold and unprecedented decision to change the composition of its most common coin, creating an unintended rarity in the process. This decision immortalized the 1982 penny as both a financial and cultural artifact, bridging economics, history, and everyday life. Holding a copper 1982 penny today is akin to holding a tangible piece of economic history, reminding collectors of the dynamic relationship between production costs, material value, and currency circulation. The cultural impact of the 1982 penny cannot be overstated. Online communities, coin forums, and YouTube channels are filled with videos dedicated to hunting for these coins, analyzing their features, and discussing market trends. The 1982 cent has become a symbol of the coin roll hunting craze, inspiring both new and veteran collectors. Every unsearched bankroll represents a small chance at discovering something extraordinary, and the 1982 penny exemplifies that possibility. Social media posts showing copper finds generate excitement, comments, and discussion among collectors worldwide. This cultural resonance has helped cement the 1982 penny as one of the most discussed and sought-after modern coins. Education and teaching are another fascinating angle. Many numismatic educators use the 1982 cent to explain principles of metallurgy, coin grading, and economic history. By examining the weight, composition, and design details, students and collectors can gain hands-on knowledge of coin production, quality control, and material science. The dual composition of 1982 coins provides a rare opportunity to illustrate how small changes in material can impact both the coin's intrinsic value and its collectability. Lessons about scarcity, probability, and market dynamics become tangible and memorable through real-world examples of the 1982 penny. Auction records, while often misunderstood, also contribute to the allure of the 1982 penny, although rumors of multi-million-dollar sales are largely exaggerated. Continuing our journey into the 1982 penny, we now enter the intricate world of grading and evaluation. For serious collectors, understanding grading is essential because the value of a penny is determined not just by its rarity, but by its condition and visual appeal. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with circulated grades from poor, P1, to about uncirculated, -58 Australian dollars, and uncirculated grades from mint state, MS 60 to MS 70. For the 1982 penny, grading can be surprisingly complex due to the dual composition. A copper penny with full red color, perfect strike, and no contact marks can achieve MS 67 or higher, while a zinc penny in similar condition may max out at a slightly lower premium because of its higher availability. The tiny details on the coin's surface, such as scratches, contact marks, luster, and color, dramatically affect the grade. For example, a copper 1982 with minimal toning and sharp relief on Lincoln's shoulder can command a higher price than a similar coin with faint scratches or uneven coloration. Collectors often study coins under 10x to 20x magnification to detect subtle flaws or die markers that can impact grading. Die varieties are another fascinating aspect that makes the 1982 penny a collectible treasure. The Lincoln Memorial reverse used in 1982 includes subtle differences that result from slight variations in the dies used during production. In some copper pennies, collectors have observed double die obverse, especially on Lincoln's cheek, the date, or lettering. These doubling effects occur when a die receives multiple impressions during preparation, creating a slight but visible overlap on certain features. Identifying these varieties requires careful observation under magnification, proper lighting, and sometimes photographic comparison with known reference examples. Double dies are particularly sought after because they are accidental, unique, and often command higher premiums at auction. Even minor anomalies such as small die cracks or tiny cud marks, raised blobs of metal along the edge of a coin caused by die damage, can elevate a coin's rarity and desirability. Collectors meticulously document these anomalies, sharing photographs and reference notes to help the community identify and classify every unique die characteristic. Error coins are another layer of fascination. The 1982 penny's dual composition creates unique opportunities for errors to survive. Some coins show partial copper plating over a zinc core, unusual lamination splits where the outer copper layer peels, or planchet defects where metal inconsistencies produce irregular thickness or unusual coloration. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, clipped planchets, and misaligned dies are also possibilities. Each error type has its own set of criteria for determining authenticity and value. Off-center strikes, for example, are often measured as a percentage of centering. A coin that is 10% off-center may be collectible, but a coin that is 50% off-center is considered a significant error and can fetch premium prices. Similarly, clipped planchets, where a coin is struck on an incomplete blank, are highly prized because they are inherently rare. These errors make 1982 pennies more than just money. They become artifacts that tell a story about the minting process, its imperfections, and the human fascination with the unexpected. The auction history of 1982 pennies provides further insight into their market value. While everyday circulation coins have minimal value, high-grade copper examples have fetched thousands of dollars. Coins graded MS65RD, mint state 65, red, can sell for several $1,000s at major coin auctions. MS66RD and MS67RD coins with exceptional eye appeal are rarer and can reach prices significantly higher. For example, auctions conducted by Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, and other prominent houses have featured copper 1982 pennies with documented provenance and certification, resulting in highly competitive bidding. These auctions are meticulously recorded, providing collectors with reference points for pricing and a sense of market trends. Even within the zinc coin population, top-grade examples with strong color and flawless surfaces attract collector attention and can command significant premiums relative to face value. Collectors often adopt specialized techniques for discovering copper 1982 pennies or valuable error coins. One popular method is coin roll hunting, where thousands of pennies are carefully examined from bank rolls. Using a pocket scale, collectors separate potential copper pennies from zinc ones. Magnifying glasses, proper lighting, and sometimes ultraviolet lamps are employed to detect subtle anomalies. Collectors also look for unique toning patterns, unusual coloration, and signs of die doubling or striking errors. Each coin is carefully logged, photographed, and sometimes submitted for professional grading. This process is labor-intensive but rewarding, and it has created a vibrant subculture within numismatics dedicated to coin roll hunting and error coin discovery. Many collectors share their finds online, contributing to a growing knowledge base and community enthusiasm. Provenance is another factor affecting the value of 1982 pennies. Coins with documented history, whether from original mint sets, early collections, or verified roll pulls, often command higher prices. Provenance provides assurance to buyers that the coin is authentic and has not been altered or tampered with. High-profile collectors and dealers often acquire copper 1982 pennies from estates, hoards, or carefully preserved mint sets, further emphasizing the historical significance of these coins. Each coin becomes more than a piece of metal. It carries the narrative of its journey from mint production to collector hands. Collectors prize these stories because they connect the coin to broader historical and cultural contexts. The design elements of the 1982 penny are rich with symbolic meaning. Lincoln's portrait on the obverse serves as a reminder of leadership, unity, and historical significance. The Lincoln Memorial reverse is equally symbolic, representing democracy, perseverance, and national heritage. The intricacy of the memorial engraving, including the tiny Lincoln statue visible through the columns, adds depth and fascination for collectors. This level of detail reflects the craftsmanship of the mint and the enduring legacy of the Lincoln cent design. Numismatists often study the coin's artistry to appreciate subtle features, including line depth, lettering spacing, and relief quality. These details are part of what makes high-grade examples so prized and collectible. Collectors also pay close attention to color designations, especially on copper pennies. Terms such as red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN, refer to the surface coloration and preservation of the coin. A fully red 1982 copper penny indicates minimal oxidation and excellent preservation, making it highly desirable. Red-brown coins have a mix of original red color and light toning, while brown coins have fully oxidized surfaces. The color designation, combined with grade, significantly affects market value. A fully red MS-67 copper penny can be worth exponentially more than a similarly graded brown coin. Collectors study color and luster to assess originality and eye appeal, which are critical components of numismatic value. Storage and preservation techniques are vital for maintaining coin quality. Copper pennies are susceptible to oxidation, toning, and environmental damage. Collectors often store coins in acid-free holders, airtight capsules, or controlled environments to prevent deterioration. Proper handling, including using gloves and avoiding contact with bare fingers, helps preserve the coin's surface and luster. These practices ensure that high-grade 1982 pennies maintain their value over time and remain desirable to collectors. The care and attention given to storage reflect the coin's significance within a collection and the dedication of collectors to preserving history. Continuing our exploration, we now turn to the rare and extraordinary error coins of 1982, because these are the ones that truly excite collectors and sometimes redefine the market. While the vast majority of 1982 pennies are unremarkable in circulated condition, certain errors stand out as treasures. One of the most sought-after varieties is the partial lamination error on copper coins. During the composition transition from copper to zinc, some pennies were struck with planchets that had thin or uneven copper plating. These coins often display areas where the copper layer has flaked or peeled, revealing a different metal beneath. Such anomalies are extremely rare because quality control typically removed defective planchets, making any surviving specimens highly collectible. Collectors often photograph these coins and submit them for professional certification, which can dramatically increase their market value. Another fascinating class of errors is off-center strikes. An off-center penny occurs when the coin blank is not perfectly aligned with the striking dies. Minor off-center strikes may go unnoticed, but coins that are 20% to 50% off-center are strikingly unusual. These coins often have incomplete images, with Lincoln's portrait shifted to one side or the memorial partially cut off. The degree of off-centering correlates with rarity, and extreme examples of off-center strikes can command high premiums at auction. In some cases, these coins are preserved in high-grade condition with perfect color, combining both the error and exceptional quality to create extremely valuable pieces. Double-die varieties are another avenue of excitement for collectors. Doubling occurs when the coin die receives multiple impressions, causing elements such as the date, lettering, or Lincoln's profile to appear doubled or shadowed. On 1982 pennies, some subtle doubled dies exist on the obverse, especially noticeable in Lincoln's cheek, the date, or the Liberty inscription. Identifying these varieties requires careful examination under magnification. Even subtle doubling can make a coin significantly more valuable than a standard strike, particularly if it is a copper coin with full red luster. The rarity of these errors, combined with the dual composition of 1982 pennies, creates a complex and fascinating landscape for collectors to explore. Clipped planchets are yet another rare error type. These occur when the coin blank is improperly cut, leaving a portion of the disc missing. The result is a coin that is visually incomplete but still recognizable. Clipped planchets are extremely uncommon, and any 1982 penny exhibiting this feature is automatically considered collectible. The degree and shape of the clip contribute to the coin's uniqueness and market value. Some collectors specialize exclusively in planchet errors, and the 1982 penny provides fertile ground for discovery due to its production transition and high mintage numbers. Broad strikes, where the coin is struck outside the retaining collar and spreads metal outward, are also observed in 1982 pennies. These coins often have wider rims, distorted images, and noticeable flattening. Broad strikes are highly valued because they represent a clear deviation from standard minting procedures. Coins in this category are rare and often captured in photographs for reference guides, auctions, and collector databases. Because the mint quickly corrected these production anomalies, surviving broad strike 1982 pennies are considered exceptional finds. The market for these rare coins is dynamic. Professional numismatic auction houses frequently feature 1982 pennies with verified errors, copper composition, and high-grade certification. Prices vary based on grade, rarity, and visual appeal. While circulated zinc pennies may sell for a few cents to $1, certified copper coins with errors in high-grade condition can reach thousands of dollars. Extreme examples of off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or double dies may command even higher premiums depending on demand. Collectors carefully monitor auction records to assess trends, identify opportunities, and validate pricing for their own collections. The numismatic market is both competitive and informed, with buyers relying on expertise, provenance, and certification to guide purchasing decisions. Collector techniques for identifying valuable 1982 pennies are highly specialized. Beyond using a pocket scale to separate copper from zinc, advanced collectors employ magnification tools to inspect the coin's obverse and reverse for die anomalies. Lighting angles are adjusted to highlight subtle doubling, die cracks, or planchet imperfections. Some collectors even use photo comparison with reference images from numismatic guides to confirm unusual features. These methods allow collectors to differentiate ordinary coins from potentially valuable specimens, enhancing their chances of finding rare examples. Coin roll hunting remains a popular approach, but careful sorting, documentation, and analysis are equally important in identifying high-value coins. Notable finds of 1982 pennies illustrate the excitement and unpredictability of collecting. Stories circulate of collectors discovering copper pennies hidden in rolls of zinc coins, complete with subtle die doubling or partial lamination errors. Some of these coins are preserved in pristine condition, with original mint red color, sharp strikes, and no blemishes. Each discovery generates excitement in the collector community, often shared through forums, social media, or YouTube videos. These finds demonstrate the ongoing allure of 1982 pennies and the potential for discovery even decades after their production. The stories themselves add to the mystique and value of the coin, reinforcing its legendary status among modern collectors. Market fluctuations over the decades have also shaped the perception of the 1982 penny. Initially, copper pennies were valued primarily for their metal content, but as collector interest grew, market value shifted toward rarity, condition, and error significance. Copper pennies in high grades became recognized as valuable collectibles, while zinc pennies remained largely nominal in value unless they exhibited exceptional quality or unusual features. Economic trends, metal prices, and numismatic interest all influence pricing, creating a dynamic market where careful research and timing can impact the value of individual coins. Auctions and private sales continue to set benchmarks for pricing, guiding collectors in evaluating and investing in their collections. Visual and mechanical detection methods are essential for any serious collector. Weight measurement is the simplest and most effective technique for distinguishing copper from zinc. Copper pennies weigh approximately 3.11 grams, while zinc pennies weigh 2.5 grams. Even small variations outside these norms may indicate an error or anomaly. Magnification, lighting, and comparison against reference images are used to detect subtle die anomalies, doubling, or planchet flaws. Collectors also examine color and luster to identify fully red copper coins, which are more desirable than red-brown or brown examples. These methods combine to form a rigorous process for evaluating and authenticating 1982 pennies, ensuring that valuable coins are correctly identified and preserved. The cultural and educational impact of 1982 pennies continues to grow. Teachers, historians, and enthusiasts use these coins to illustrate economic history, material science, and minting processes. By examining differences in composition, weight, and design, learners gain hands-on experience with concepts such as scarcity, probability, and market value. Coin roll hunting provides an interactive way to engage with history and economics, turning ordinary pennies into tangible lessons. The 1982 penny thus serves as both a collectible and an educational tool, bridging the gap between numismatic interest and practical learning. Community engagement also plays a critical role. Online forums, social media groups, and collector clubs allow enthusiasts to share discoveries, discuss grading and errors, and provide guidance for new collectors. These communities foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, and mentorship, ensuring that expertise is preserved and disseminated. Experienced collectors offer advice on identifying copper coins, detecting errors, and understanding grading standards, creating an environment where hobbyists can grow in skill and appreciation. The shared excitement of discovery reinforces the social aspect of collecting, making the 1982 penny not only a numismatic treasure, but also a cultural touchstone within the collector community. As we continue deeper into the world of the 1982 penny, it is impossible to ignore the fascinating stories that come out of professional auctions. Collectors often track major numismatic houses such as Heritage Auctions, Stax Bowers, and Great Collections for notable sales of copper 1982 pennies or extraordinary error specimens. One memorable example involves a copper 1982 penny in MS66RD condition, certified by PCGS, that sold at auction for several $1,000s. What made this coin remarkable was not only its pristine condition but also its provenance. It had been carefully preserved in a private collection for decades, remaining untouched since the early 1980s. Stories like these inspire collectors worldwide, illustrating that coins previously considered ordinary can, with the right combination of rarity, grade, and story, reach extraordinary value. These auction case studies also provide concrete data for evaluating the market and understanding trends over time, helping collectors make informed decisions about buying, selling, and holding coins for long-term appreciation. Authentication is another critical aspect of collecting 1982 pennies. With so many coins in circulation and the high demand for copper and error varieties, professional authentication protects both buyers and sellers. Organizations like PCGS and NGC examine every detail of a coin, including weight, composition, die markers, strike quality, color, and surface condition. A certified MS67RD copper 1982 penny is far more valuable than an uncertified example because buyers can trust its authenticity. Professional grading also helps distinguish between natural errors, post-mint damage, and intentional alterations. Some coins, for instance, may have been artificially cleaned or treated to improve color or luster. Certification ensures that these manipulations are noted, preserving the integrity of the collector market. Historical anecdotes from the U.S. Mint add another layer of intrigue to the 1982 penny story. The decision to shift from copper to zinc was driven by economic necessity, but it created unintended opportunities for numismatic discovery. Some Mint employees later recounted the challenges of managing production lines during the transition. For example, copper planchets from the early year had to be carefully separated from the new zinc blanks, and any leftover copper was sometimes used inadvertently, creating coins that are today rare collector items. Production logs and archival records show that the Mint was aware of the challenges, but the scale of production meant that some variation was inevitable. These anecdotes highlight the human element behind coinage, the fact that even in a highly mechanized system, small inconsistencies can lead to rare and valuable coins decades later. Collectors also employ strategies to maximize their chances of finding valuable 1982 pennies in bulk. Coin roll hunting remains the most popular method, but advanced enthusiasts take a systematic approach. First, they source rolls from multiple banks, often selecting those that are labeled as unsearched or newly packaged. Using pocket scales, they separate copper candidates from zinc pennies. Each coin is then visually inspected under magnification for die anomalies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, or unusual coloration. Photographs are taken for documentation, and notable finds are submitted for professional grading. Collectors may also track the provenance of rolls, noting the bank, state, and facility of origin, which can occasionally provide insights into potential mint errors or rare varieties. This methodical approach transforms a casual hobby into a disciplined pursuit of valuable numismatic artifacts. Another strategy involves examining mint sets and proof sets from 1982. While circulation pennies are abundant, mint sets often contain coins in pristine condition that never entered general circulation. Copper pennies in mint sets are particularly valuable because they are often untuned, fully read, and free from contact marks. Some collectors purchase mint sets specifically to extract these coins, then have them graded and preserved. Proof sets, although primarily intended as collectible specimens, sometimes yield coins with minor production anomalies, such as die polishing lines or slight doubling. These subtle variations can enhance the value of the coin to specialist collectors who study every detail of mint production. Error discovery is not limited to professional collectors. Hobbyists and amateur numismatists regularly report finding 1982 pennies with unusual characteristics. Stories abound of individuals discovering copper pennies in circulation, often in jars of loose change or overlooked rolls from banks. One widely circulated anecdote involves a coin collector who purchased a box of unsearched pennies and discovered multiple copper 1982 cents, some with subtle die doubling. These discoveries often make headlines in online forums and YouTube channels, generating excitement and reinforcing the notion that valuable coins can still be found in everyday circulation. These real-world stories keep the collecting community engaged and motivated to continue their searches, demonstrating that the 1982 penny remains a dynamic and exciting area of numismatics. Auction highlights from around the world emphasize the range of potential values for 1982 pennies. While typical zinc pennies in circulated condition are worth minimal amounts, copper coins in high grade have consistently attracted attention. Notable sales of MS65RD and higher examples often exceed several $1,000s. Coins with documented errors, such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, or clipped planchets, can command even greater prices depending on rarity, demand, and visual appeal. Collectors often monitor these auctions closely to identify trends, determine appropriate pricing for similar coins, and assess market interest. The presence of competitive bidding and international participants reflects the global appeal of these coins, further cementing their status as highly collectible items. Collector techniques also include long-term investment strategies. Some enthusiasts specialize in accumulating copper 1982 pennies over several years, carefully storing them in airtight holders to preserve condition. Others focus on identifying specific die varieties or errors, aiming to assemble a comprehensive collection that demonstrates the full spectrum of production variations for that year. This strategic approach transforms coin collecting from a casual pastime into a disciplined investment, combining numismatic expertise, market knowledge, and historical research. The dual composition of 1982 pennies makes this process particularly rewarding, as collectors have multiple layers of rarity to explore. The educational value of the 1982 penny continues to inspire both novice and experienced collectors. By studying the coin, individuals learn about the complexities of coin production, including planchet preparation, die creation, striking, and quality control. They gain insight into the economic factors that influence minting decisions, such as material costs and production efficiency. The coin also serves as a case study in probability and statistical analysis, as collectors calculate the odds of finding copper pennies or error specimens in bulk rolls. This combination of hands-on experience, historical context, and mathematical reasoning provides a rich learning environment that extends beyond simple collecting. Community engagement remains central to the 1982 penny phenomenon. Online forums, social media groups, and collector clubs provide platforms for sharing discoveries, analyzing coins, and offering advice on grading and preservation. Experienced collectors mentor newcomers, teaching techniques for identifying copper coins, detecting errors, and documenting findings. These communities foster collaboration, knowledge sharing, and mutual enthusiasm, ensuring that expertise is preserved and passed down to future generations. The social dimension of collecting enhances the overall experience, turning the pursuit of 1982 pennies into a shared adventure and a vibrant cultural practice. As we reach the culmination of the 1982 penny story, one cannot overlook the advanced die variety cataloging that has become an essential aspect of modern numismatics. Expert collectors meticulously document every subtle variation in the coin's design, striking, and surface characteristics. Some of the most sought-after features include subtle repunched dates, faint doubled dies, die cracks along Lincoln's shoulder or the rim of the memorial reverse, and minor variations in lettering thickness. Numismatic researchers have painstakingly compared thousands of 1982 pennies to identify these minute distinctions. Detailed catalogs and photographic guides now exist, allowing collectors to cross-reference their coins with verified examples. This documentation not only aids in authentication, but also ensures that rare varieties receive appropriate recognition and valuation in the marketplace. Major historical hoards provide another fascinating layer of context for 1982 pennies. Over the decades, several large-scale coin finds have emerged from bank vaults, estate collections, and forgotten storage boxes. In many instances, these hoards contain thousands of pennies, including uncirculated copper coins with exceptional luster and rare error specimens. Discoveries like these have had a profound impact on the collector community, offering opportunities to acquire coins of higher grade or unique anomalies that would otherwise be nearly impossible to find in circulation. Hoards also provide insight into historical collecting practices and demonstrate the long-term preservation potential of coins, emphasizing the value of proper storage and documentation. Professional grading nuances continue to shape the 1982 penny market. While basic grading relies on numerical standards, expert graders also evaluate eye appeal, strike quality, surface preservation, and originality. For example, a coin with sharp relief, full red color, and flawless surfaces may receive a higher grade than a similarly unblemished coin with weaker strike or minor toning. Graders pay close attention to subtle details, such as die polish lines, slight doubling, or faint planchet imperfections. Certification by trusted organizations like PCGS and NGC provides assurance to buyers and sellers, helping to maintain confidence in the market. For the 1982 penny, where copper and zinc compositions coexist, grading expertise is particularly critical, as proper identification directly affects valuation. Global collector trends highlight the widespread fascination with the 1982 penny. Collectors in the United States, Europe, and Asia actively seek these coins, especially copper examples and error specimens. International interest has helped fuel auction activity and increased competition for high-grade coins. Social media platforms, numismatic forums, and YouTube channels have amplified this global engagement, allowing collectors to share discoveries, strategies, and market insights. The worldwide audience demonstrates that the appeal of the 1982 penny extends beyond national boundaries, elevating it from a domestic curiosity to an internationally recognized collectible. Speculative market analysis further illustrates the long-term potential of 1982 pennies. While the coins themselves were produced in the billions, the scarcity of copper examples, high-grade specimens, and unique errors creates a market where demand can significantly outpace supply. Collectors consider factors such as economic trends, historical mint practices, and the prevalence of certain die varieties when assessing potential future value. Coins with verified provenance, exceptional preservation, or rare error features are especially attractive to investors seeking both numismatic satisfaction and financial return. While the notion of a $273 million penny is myth, the concept captures the imagination of collectors, emphasizing the dramatic disparity in value that can exist between ordinary circulation pennies and truly rare specimens. The 1982 penny also offers invaluable lessons for collectors of all levels. Beyond monetary value, it teaches careful observation, patience, and the importance of meticulous documentation. Collectors learn to distinguish subtle die varieties, identify composition differences, detect errors, and evaluate coin condition using both visual and mechanical techniques. The pursuit of 1982 pennies transforms the simple act of handling coins into an engaging intellectual and historical exercise. Each discovery, whether a copper penny tucked among zinc coins, a faintly doubled die, or an off-center strike, reinforces the thrill of the hunt and the excitement of contributing to a larger numismatic narrative. Finally, the story of the 1982 penny underscores the enduring cultural and historical significance of small coins. Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, coupled with the Lincoln Memorial reverse, represents American heritage, artistry, and the continuity of national symbolism. The coin embodies a unique moment in economic history, reflecting the transition from copper to zinc and illustrating the complex interplay between material costs, minting decisions, and collector interest. The dual composition of 1982 pennies creates a lasting intrigue, ensuring that each coin serves as both a tangible artifact and a narrative of discovery. Collectors around the world continue to search for copper examples, high-grade specimens, and rare errors, sustaining the legacy and relevance of the 1982 penny for generations to come. In conclusion, the 1982 U.S. penny is a coin of remarkable complexity, historical significance, and collector fascination. From its dual composition, die varieties, and rare error coins to professional grading, major hoards, auction highlights, and global collector trends, the 1982 penny offers a multidimensional experience. It challenges collectors to hone their skills, engage with history, and appreciate the subtle artistry and production nuances of minting. Whether discovered in circulation, preserved in a mint set, or identified as an extraordinary error, each 1982 penny tells a story of chance, skill, and historical context. The coin represents a convergence of economics, artistry, and collector enthusiasm, ensuring its place as one of the most intriguing and celebrated modern coins in United States numismatics. The 1982 penny is not merely a piece of currency. It is a living artifact, a treasure of history, and a testament to the enduring appeal of discovery and preservation in the world of coin collecting.